I want to get back to Media Watch though, because I showed you earlier some of their program, and I do often criticise the ABC's Media Watch on this program. Why not? Because it's so ideological and misleading. But they gave us a fascinating and important story earlier this week.
But now to the courts, and a rare win for journalists and publishers after a case that lasted 3 years and cost millions of dollars.
Chelmsford doctors lose bid to rewrite history in defamation case.
Yes, ABC News journalist Steve Cannane won hands down in the federal court last week, with the judge awarding costs against deep sleep therapists John Gill and John Heron.
Yep, this defamation case was a significant one. It related to two doctors found by a royal commission 30 years ago to be culpable in the Chelmsford deep sleep scandal. ABC journalist Steve Cannane recounted this in his 2016 book on Scientology called Fair Game. He was sued because the doctors essentially challenged the facts as laid out by the Royal Commission findings.
Last week, after a 7-week trial, Cannane and HarperCollins emerged victorious, with Justice Jane Jago delivering a damning assessment of Heron and Gill's case, finding that they were
fixated on a single objective: to have the findings in this proceeding rewrite history and vindicate their conduct, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary and the lack of any cogent evidence to support them.
Yep, it was an important win for Cannane and for free speech. It was very costly, and he must be glad he had a publisher with the courage and financial resources to defend his work.
Victory is sweet, but it came at a great cost to all parties, including the plaintiffs, one of whom put his house on the line. And, of course, to the victims, the author and the publisher, owned by News Corp, who were also put through the mill.
Hang on, what was that? Who was that again?
The publisher, owned by News Corp, the publisher, owned by News Corp, the publisher, owned by News Corp.
News Corp? He mentioned it so quickly I nearly missed it. Isn't this the same organisation Barry spends most weeks bagging? The same media organisation whose journalism he usually clips and edits and plays all sorts of tricks with to pretend it's wrong, or to pretend it's one-sided, or whatever other evils he seeks to concoct for News Corp? Isn't Barry running a jihad against News Corp because he thinks it's bad for freedom of expression?
And with a week gone by since former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd called for a media royal commission, more than 320,000 people have now signed a petition to Parliament. And in case you're not clear why Kevin Rudd has the Murdoch's News Corp in his sights and not 7, 9 or the ABC, we'll let him explain.
You see, the truth is Murdoch has become a cancer, an arrogant cancer on our democracy.
Yep, indeed. Paul Barry is part of that campaign. Perhaps that explains why, when it comes to recognising News Corp's tenacity in upholding the truth and defending an ABC journalist, all Barry could spare was just a few grudging syllables, presumably in the hope that most viewers would miss it.